Hi, boys and girls. It's time for another Valentine story. I hope that you all had a nice Valentine's Day. Well, our story today is called Mystery Valentine. Patty had hurried in the house from school. She saw her mom and she said, "Mom, did I get any mail today?" Well, before her mother could even answer, her little brother Mark, he yelled into her, "Yeah, there's a letter for you on the dining room table." Oh, Patty, she was so excited. She said, I bet it's from Mary Lee. Now, she was her best friend in that big city where they used to live, but her father had been transferred to this little town called Sunnyvale. But it didn't seem very sunny or very friendly to her. Well, she went in to look at that envelope, and she opened it up, and inside was a big red velvet valentine with lace all the way around it. And in the middle of it, it said, "Be mine." And inside it said, "From a close friend." A close friend, but it wasn't Mary Lee. She looked at the outside of the envelope, and it had a Sunnyvale postal stamp on it. It had to be somebody else. She looked at it more intently. She thought, "I've seen that writing before, but I don't know who it is." So she took it in her bedroom and she set it up on her dresser. Well, her half of the dresser. But then she looked at it and she kind of frowned. The room was all a mess, and it made the Valentine look bad. So Patty immediately started putting her things away. She shared the room with her older sister, and I think it was generally her side of the room that didn't look very nice, but she picked up everything. Then she heard a loud noise, and she thought, she knew who that was and what it was. And she said, "Mark, you know you're not supposed to eat between meals." She could hear him in the cookie jar. Well, then she thought, Mark, did you send me a Valentine?" But Mark had his mouth clear full of cookies, and he tried to answer, and he went out the back door. It was totally unintelligible what he had said. And she thought, could be Mark. But then she thought about that, and she thought, would Mark buy anything that he couldn't eat? I don't think so. Well, she figured it had to be somebody at school. Well, then her sister had come home, and she had seen the Valentine up on the dresser, and she said, "Oh, isn't it pretty? Who sent it to you?" Patty said, "I don't know. It says a close friend, but I don't think I have any close friends here. All my friends are back in the city where Dad was transferred from." Well, Gail said, "Isn't it fun to know you've got a friend, even if it's a surprise?" Patty, she turned to her sister and she said, "I don't think it's fun. I want to know who it is." Well, her sister said, "Be glad that you have a friend." She said, "I got to go to the library. The teacher called it research. My friend and I got to go do that studying for school. I'll see you later. Bye-bye." Well, she didn't know. She kept thinking, who could it be? Then she thought of that day at school. She thought about Johnny. He was always late to everything. Yesterday, he'd been running down the hall and he crashed right into Patty, and her books flew everywhere, all over the floor. And then she bent down to pick them up, the same time that Johnny bent over to pick them up, and their heads crashed together. And Johnny said, "Sorry." But Patty, she'd gotten up and she threw her hair back and she walked on. And she now thought, couldn't be Johnny. Well, she didn't know. The next morning when she was walking to school, she had put that Valentine in her pocket. She kept sticking her hand in there and feeling that crushed red velvet. It was so pretty. And she pulled it out and let the sun shine on it. She thought, whoever it is, know how much I love velvet. Well, then down the street she saw Sue. She touched the Valentine and she thought, "Sue, wait up." And Patty started running down the street toward Sue. And when she got there, she said, "Hi." And Sue looked at her and she said, "You want to walk with me?" And Patty said, "Yeah, I've wanted to before, but I thought you could care less." And Sue looked at her and she said, "Well, we all thought you were the most conceited girl we'd ever seen, but now I know different." Well, then down the street, they saw Betty and Jane, and Sue called out, "Wait for us." So they ran up to Betty and Jane, and Sue said, "Hey guys, Patty and I are friends now. She's not conceited like we thought she was. She's my friend now." And Jane and Betty said, well, good. She can join our group then." Well, Patty, she felt kind of good inside. Maybe she could make a friend. Well, as they were starting to walk along, Betty and Sue and Jane said, "Tomorrow we're going to go skating. You want to come with us?" And Patty, she said, "I'd love to go skating." So they finished walking to school. And Patty had decided it wasn't Sue that had sent the Valentine, but she kept thinking about the writing on that Valentine. Whoever wrote it made little circles instead of dots on her eyes, and instead of periods, she made little circles. Somebody she knew did that. Well, school went on, and she kept looking around, and she thought, I don't know. Well, when the school bell rang, Patty looked up and Sue was smiling at her, and she thought, I guess I've made one friend, and I could make others, maybe Betty and Jane. So they started on their way home. And when Patty left Sue, she said, "I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, come walk with me." Well, when Patty got home, she was still thinking about where had she seen that writing before. She looked at that pretty Valentine. Could it be from Mom? No. Then all of a sudden, something up here in her brain clicked, and she remembered. Her sister Gail was older than she was, but Patty was the best speller. And her sister, the other day, had given her her term paper and said, "Would you please read it, Patty, and see if there's any misspelled words so I can fix them?" And Patty had said she'd be glad to. And now Patty knew those little circles for periods and circles for dots on the I's. Gail had sent that Valentine's card. And then tears started running down Patty's face. She was so disappointed. I mean, it was nice of her sister, but she wanted a friend so badly. And then she thought of something. Wasn't it nice that she had a sister that cared enough to make her feel like she belonged? Then those tears turned to happy tears. "Oh, well," she said. And then she thought of something else. If she was friendly, maybe the other kids would be friendly right back. Maybe that's all they were waiting for. If she was friendly, she could have friends, and there was lots of people she could be friends with. Well, that was a big dawning light for Patty. If you show yourself a friend, others will want to be your friend. Well, I hope you've learned something good from our mystery Valentine story today. And I will see you next week, boys and girls. Bye-bye now.